It's Mike with Closed GPT, and we got Ross here with us today. How you doing, Ross?
I am good, man. Glad to be here after the Facebook debacle of 2024.
Yeah, it's surprisingly hard to stream in 2024 on Facebook. They don't make it easy. So, and I like to think I'm a little tech savvy, but I don't know. Yeah.
I would like to think I am too. Most of my business comes from social media, and you'd think they
Yeah,
would make this easier. They
yeah,
don't.
absolutely. Well, I'm excited. We got a really cool new step in the automations. I want to show you guys. And I think this is going to open up so many possibilities. I was talking with this about this new step with Ross, and you were mentioning some use cases like you could use this for insurance to send out emails. And tell everyone what you were telling me earlier.
Yeah. So, one of the big things that I do after over a decade of being in the insurance industry is I try to build automations for my fellow insurance brothers and sisters out there who are trying to work in this really difficult environment for insurance right now. And one of the best things you can do is create more touch points that are more personalized for your customers so that they're not waiting on that renewal bill to come in. They're not scared when they see that increase in the premium because you've already talked to them about it. And what I see for this step with the LLM custom prompt is that we can create custom emails that are personalized out of our database or out of a third-party database with APIs. But for this step, I want to focus on the LLM prompt if we can, because I think we can dive in really deep here. When you talk about the instructions that you can build out and the variables that you can put in here, and what I really love is the fact that you can run it right there side by side and test what it does to see that it works before you do anything. And then the really cool part where it gets super powerful is when you showed me you can stack these variables and you can start connecting everything. So I would love to run through some of this and at least give people a taste for what this can do. Because my comment to you last night, and I stand by it, is this additional loan I can sell to a lot of people. Combining the forms and this automation right here, you can do a ton of different things if you're really creative.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And I'm sharing this in the group right now because I don't even think it's shared in the group. So say, watch Ross and Mike dive into the new AI step in automations. Perfect. Yeah. Well, I think everyone's going to be their brain's going to be spinning with ideas on stuff we can do to get this going and how people can use this step. So on that note, let's just go ahead and dive in. I'm going to share my screen and we'll get started.
Sounds good. Did you share it in both the FlowTrack and the chat or Closed GPT group?
I think I did.
I'm going to go through and check. Okay, so I
Okay.
see it in the FlowTrack group, and then I'm going to check Closed GPT. If you didn't, then I'm going to go ahead and post the link in there as well. But
Perfect.
it is streaming. Yep, it's streaming live in both groups, so we're good.
Perfect. All right. So inside, and right now this is exclusively on the AI tools, and we're going to be rolling this out to the other types of triggers here in the automations. But we got this new step called AI LLM prompt, right? And if anyone's ever used, OpenAI before, you have this concept of a system prompt and then a response. We do things a little bit differently here. I think it gives you guys kind of more flexibility on what you want to do. So we have system prompts and then we have variables, right? And the variables here are actually pieces of data you want back from the AI, right? And this is going to be things that you can use later on in your flow. And this is the part that I'm super excited about. So I'm just going to go ahead and put in a simple example here. Let's say you had your AI employee and its job was to generate a quote, right? You could be a home services business, window tint company. I'm going to use window tint. I'm going to say we are a window tint company, and we charge per window to tint. We charge $50 per window. And so I'm going to give it a little bit of context, and I'm obviously just making this super short in here just for the sake of time. Now I'm going to say something like take the what the user said below to generate a quote, right? And so this is where we could take, maybe a message from the customer. We could take, any sort of data right here, insert a merge field, right? So this could be in the middle of a conversation. We're injecting the conversation in here to pass it to the AI. So I would normally have like the variable right here. But for the purpose of this demo, I'm just going to go ahead and type something. So user said, I have a BMW and I need 3 windows tinted. Right? So imagine that's a variable. Now, if we just ran this out of the box, right, we're going to get a response. It says, thank you for reaching out. The cost is $150, 3 windows times $50 a window. That's cool, but what else can we do with this? And then Ross, so like what other variables do you think we should put in here? Maybe
I would say,
emails? What do you want to
yeah, let's say we want to email them the quote too.
do? Okay.
And then let's put in a subject line and a body with it.
Okay, perfect. So these variables, we can kind of give some prompting on what we want the AI to do. And so let's say we were going to email this person a quote, right? So I might put in email subject. I'm going to copy this right here, and I'm going to say, write the email subject line here. Right? And then I'm going to put in another variable and we're going to say email body. Write a long form email to give the user a quote. I'm going to say a custom quote. And I'm also going to call this email body. So we got 3 things that are coming out of this AI, right? We got a response to the user, which is what we got right here. We got an email subject line and an email body, right? This allows us to use this data later in the automation to actually send an email. So now if I click on run, I'm going to get a little bit of a different response in here. So you see, I got my assistant response, I got my email subject and my email body, right? So this is something that we could use to send an email. And now we can get super, detailed in the description. Like I want you to sign the email as, because I notice right away that there's a variable in here, right? It doesn't know our company name and contact info. So we can go ahead and give it more instructions, sign the emails as Mike from Mike's Auto Shop.
Another thing you could do there, Mike, because we have the merge fields in the email setting, would be do not sign the email. And then we could have the signature below with the merge fields.
100%. So we can do that 2 ways. And let's demonstrate both real quick. So this way you're kind of leaving it up to the AI to do it for you, right? So it's signing it as I told it to.
Mm-hmm.
But AI can be less predictable in that sense. And if you want full control over the email signature, we'll just say don't put a email signature, and we can go down that route and just plug that into the email step. So here you go, and notice this response is different every time, right? This is AI building a custom response. So that's cool. Now we could get super detailed with this. Like what are some other variables you think we could use in here, Ross? Maybe
I would put in an upsell option in there as well.
Upsell.
Yeah.
Okay. We can put
upsell or cross-sell depending on what the business needs, but you're doing 3 windows. My immediate question would be, why don't you need 4?
Yeah, right. Why don't you need 4? So we can put in upsells 2 different ways, right? I could do a whole nother variable as like a SMS upsell, right? I can add another field right here. We can say SMS upsell. And I'm going to say write a short and sweet Sweet. SMS to upsell the user to our gold plan. Right. And so since I'm giving the AI kind of like garbage in, I'm going to get garbage out. Doesn't know what the gold plan is. So let's go ahead and run that and see what happens. So look at that. So now it created another new variable, upgrade to our gold plan for enhanced UV protection and lifetime warranty. I can say, and talk about their car. So I can customize this even more. Right. And so notice it's using the context now from what the user said to generate a super personalized response. So I could use one step in an automation to build out a response, to build out my email subject and body, and to build out like a follow-up SMS upsell, maybe like 2 days later. So that's really cool. Another thing I like to do and use the AI for is actually to extract data out of a conversation, right? I may want to tag this person as like, you know what, this is someone that needed 3 windows tinted, right? So I can go back and I can mark it to them later. So I can go ahead and put a new variable and we'll say number of windows needed, right? And I'm trying to keep my variable name kind of descriptive because the AI can see this, right? And all this kind of gives context to the AI. So if it looks weird, like why am I typing it like this? It's because, it makes sense to the AI. So I didn't even put any spaces or anything. I just put it all as one word. And now you're going to see this name inside the tool. The title is just for you. Whereas the variable keys for the AI. So we can show you that in a second. So I can say put the number of windows the user needs tinted, like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, and I gave it some examples here on this prompting. I got another new variable, so I'm going to run this again. And here we go, right? It extracted 3 from this conversation. And so I'm getting a lot of good data here. I may even want to get the make of their car, right? And so I could do this again. And I can say make of car. So put the make of the user's car here, such as Ford, Chevy, etc., or none, or I'll just say or IDK, IDK if unknown, right? So now we can extract the make of the car. There we go, make of the car, BMW. So now I can use this to maybe tag people. I can use this as a condition in the flow, right? If they needed 3+ windows tinted, do something else. And so you can use this to create as many variables as you want here to extract data for this flow. But Ross, I was talking with you about a super fun use case in the insurance world. Let's actually dive into that one because I think that's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's do it.
Perfect. And I can't close the tab without stopping sharing. So let me stop that real quick and then dive back in. I'm going to open up another new AI LLM prompt step. But I think before we do that, let me see if we can show them how to use that in the email. So let's do that.
And let me stop you and back you up a second, because I know a lot of people may not understand how this data is coming in. So is that going to come in directly from the AI conversation? Do we need to have a form saved on that step to pull the data in? Or is this data getting triggered to pull in?
Great question. So right now it's exclusively used on the AI tool step. So we have a new trigger in here, a custom AI tool. but the team's going in and they're enabling this on the automations. So you can use this on a form submission, right? Someone fills out a form, we pass the form data to the AI, and then have the AI analyze it. Now, this could be for like feature extraction, right? Extracting data out of what the user submitted. It could be to categorize it too, right? Like determine if this person is sales or customer service, right? And then the AI is making a decision, and then you can branch based on that. So the possibilities are really endless on how you can use it. And like I said, the coolest part is just getting it into these variables that are easily, you can do a lot of stuff with. So let me share my screen again. I'm going to show you where that output actually gets saved. So inside your merge fields, you got this new step output. So all these variables we just created, we can use in like emails, we can use in SMS and other steps, right? So I can say, great speaking with you about your, and then I'll insert the variable. I'm going to say about your make of car, right? I could send an email that way. Or we can go ahead and just completely let the AI respond, because remember, we had it generate that email body. So there's my email body, right? And then this is where I can go ahead and put in my signature. I'll say, thanks, Mike, Mike's Auto, right? And so now we got personalized, marketing and communication with your customers and leads, really at scale. And so I would use this here in the email. I do the exact same thing in the SMS for that upsell. And, letting the AI make the decision on when to upsell and what to upsell is extremely powerful, right? It's like you kind of remove that human out of the loop, right? You just tell it the conditions, like upsell the customer if they only have 3 out of 4 windows tinted, or if they have this special car or that special car, or this product or service. You give it the conditions and you let the AI do the work.
Pretty cool. I love that we can create our own custom variables in that.
Yep. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. A lot of fun. Now, tell them about the insurance use case. You wanted to actually do a lookup of customer's policy. I know we're going to make another video on that, but share what you're talking about there.
Yeah, so what I'm doing is I'm building a customer service rep. So let's say a customer calls in and says, hey, I want to know about my renewal rate on the policy, or when is my renewal date, or when is my renewal payment due. And then what you have to do is train the AI to ask for the policy number and date of birth, or whatever descriptor you need to make sure that that information directs them to the right database. And what you and I had worked on is building the API call to the database, verifying that. So it's doing a GET API call to the database, verifying that policy number, and pulling in all of the data in that database. And now it can answer any of those questions about that policy once it has verified that policy number. So really cool option here. And what we did here was put that in, and I'll let you show them. We were able to take it and convert it from API information, if you wanted to regular English, and basically use it as a pass-through to the AI assistant to answer the questions in real time.
Yep. Oh, perfect. And so I got this in here to paste, and this in here is the policy details. And so we got this in here, and this is the raw response from the API, right? And so we go ahead and we feed this basically to the AI. And so this is going to be one way we can give the AI some instructions. So I can say something like, you are a insurance company, and I need you to tell the user the renewal.
Let's go with the renewal price.
Renewal price for the policy, right? And so we would make this actually a variable, right? And we can go ahead and Just insert the API response here, just super raw. And in here, I can go ahead and we can keep the assistant response if we want, but we can go ahead and just put renewal price. And then we got the key renewal price. So I'll say put the renewal price here. So I'm going to run this, and here we go, right? We got the renewal price, and we got a response. And so it's actually taking that raw, JSON from the API, and it's actually going in and making and parsing that. So there's so much we can do with this step. You don't even need to worry about, a full kind of like API integration or parsing the response. It's like just pass the data to the AI, let the AI do it. Now there's other things we can put in here, right? We can put in something like, we'll go back to the upsell, right? Let's do the upsell. How does that sound?
Sounds great. So from here, I would upsell, and let's say in the database, I have a note that says this is a monoline policy. So let's ask them if they want us to run a quote for their homeowner's insurance as well.
Okay, if they want to run a quote for homeowners insurance if they don't have it, right?
Yep.
Perfect. So this one's going to be an SMS. So I'm just typing in here upsell SMS. Now, right, we gave the AI instructions. It's going to look at that raw API data, and we're going to go ahead and it's going to generate that upsell. Now, I can go ahead and put in more details, explain the benefits, right? So it can be a little bit longer of an SMS, right? There we go. And so now it's generating a custom SMS. And let's say, and greet them by first name. There we go. Get even more specific. There you go. Right? So that is a really cool way to use the AI. And so talk more about this use case, Ross. You're going to take this AI step, have it interpret the API results, and you wanted to feed that back to the AI employee. Talk about that.
Yeah. So if it's going to interpret and feed it back to the employee, what I want to do is be able to take this and communicate any way possible. So what I really liked about this is it's going to pull the conversation in, and it's going to be able to read that. It's going to be able to grab it. And in that is where the new tool that you added comes into play, where we can insert that. What is it called? It's the custom AI function.
Yeah. Or custom AI tools, custom AI function. Yep.
And so what's cool there is you can put more detail, more prompts on what to collect from that data and pull it in. To me, what this does, and let's stop talking about the tech and talk about the real life scenario of this. This is a customer service representative's job to do all this. You answer the phone, you ask these questions. Your job is to collect data, give them basic information that a licensed agent doesn't have to give them, and to minimize the work on the licensed agent so they can continue to scale. In this scenario, we can do this for less than $1,000 a month for this employee, when a customer service representative is going to be getting paid $40,000 to $45,000 a year. So we just cut them down their cost by about, I don't know, we cut them down to 25% of their original cost of what they were paying for a CSR. And with insurance being what it is right now, carriers are not taking on new business. They're raising prices 2 and 3 times, and people are shopping more and more. If you can go through and you can have this not only be the customer service rep and take that call right now, you can also touch base with the people when their renewals are coming up. You can use tags to put the date of their renewals, have it fire off automations with anybody with the renewal dates within 45 days, XYZ. Now your touch points just become automatic in your business. And that's what this allows you to do. And getting away from the insurance side, building this out for e-commerce and online businesses that sell actual products, dude, that's going to be nuts to be able to call real-time databases to see what products are in stock, what are not in stock, and sell it real time. Like I'm absolutely I'm stoked for where this is going.
And that's it is awesome. So another customer was talking about plugging this into their Shopify store, right? So they're looking at connecting the API. Same thing, right? The API is going to pull up an order number, right? And the AI employee is going to ask the customer, "What's your order number?" Right? So it's the customer service AI employee. AI employee does the API pull. You pass the data here to the LLM prompt step. API puts in this gibberish, right? The JSON code and spits out some just, personalized answers. What's the status of my order? When did it ship? What's the tracking number? Right? All those things you can deliver to the AI employee so it can have that conversation with your customers and deliver amazing customer service.
Another thing that I want to touch on is that
Mhm.
you can essentially loop this. You can have this thing run and you can take the variables here and put them back into the instructions from what you showed me last night.
Yep, absolutely. So the variables that we create here, right, they can be used anywhere in a flow, including another AI LLM step, right? So I can save this step, open up another one, and I can't close with this share. So 1 second, let me save that and close.
Got to make things complicated by telling people more features. That's my bad.
Yeah. So, let's say I chain these together, right? I can start having multiple steps. I could do one to pull the API response. Then I insert the output of, let's say, the renewal price, right? And then I can use another variable. You can say like the customer's name, right? And we can, just chain this together. So what would be an example of something you'd want to do in like a second or third prompt with maybe the renewal price?
I think this would be a great way to start generating those emails. So let's say we're having a conversation about the renewal price. We tag them as calling in and asking about that.
Mm-hmm.
And then on that tag, we can do a follow up with another touch point. Maybe it's hey, how was your experience with our system? Here was your renewal price just for your records. Send an email, send a text, get a rating on your agency from the support standpoint, and then use it to upsell down the road. Like, hey, this renewal price has gone up since last year. Pull the data from last year. Would you like us to bundle your home and auto and see if we can get that down a little bit and give it a reason? There's a lot that you can do here. I mean, I just think more touch points and more personalized interactions are going to be exactly what this is going to be used for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So one of those things you said is ask to bundle, right? So ask the user if they want to bundle their coverage. And now I'm just doing a simple example where we only put the renewal price, but we could put the plan, the coverage limit, the benefits, we could put all sorts of information about the policy here. So when it's actually generating a response, it can be super personalized response. And now when I'm using the variable here, the AI is not going to have anything because that variable doesn't exist yet. So I'm just going to type in a price, $34.79. Right? So I can go in and click on run, and your renewal price is set. Would you like to consider bundling? Now, I don't like this response out of the gates. So we can say something like remind the user of their renewal price and ask the user if they want to bundle. So here we go. Now, when we get a response to this SMS, right, what can we do? We can pass it back to the AI LLM step to generate a new response, or just assign it to, a sales rep. But I know hooking it up to like a Shopify store for order updates would be cool. Hooking it up to an API for insurance information to get your policy renewal dates and other cool facts would be good. How else could you see this being used with some of your customers?
Man, it's endless
know you have
variety.
a secret one you were talking about. I don't know if you can drop any little piece of that without giving it away, but
Honestly, yeah. So the biggest one for this, if you have anybody calling into any kind of service industry and they need to get somebody on the phone to book an appointment, this would be a great one to do because you can put in there. All right, let's say that you're going to in North Carolina, we have the inspections, right? You need to call to schedule an inspection for your car. And so you want to get in. Well, maybe they have 1, 2 employees working there and they're actually doing the inspections and no one's answering the phone. This would be a great way to have the AI set up the appointment and book them to come in to get the inspection. And now that's running on autopilot. No one's waiting because I know I've called for my inspections at multiple places. You miss that call, and I'm going to call somewhere else. There's a lot of places around North Carolina that do inspections. I'm not going to sit there and wait. And I'm dang sure not going to go show up at the inspection site and sit there and wait and hope that you can get me in. So for something like this, I would definitely use that to book. And there's no waiting. This thing could book it in 3 minutes flat, be done. When you absolutely know the time limits it takes to do your inspections, with the calendar booking integration, all you have to do is book that integration. It blocks it on your calendar, and now you just have a revolving door of people coming through and paying you money for your services.
So the AI employee can book the service, the inspection. It could use the custom tool maybe to look up the price of the inspection based on year, make, and model, right?
Yep.
What else? How else could we use the AI to replace all these laborious tasks?
I mean, again, upselling. I mean, it's just anything you can pull through and take the year, make, and model. You can pull in the data from the last time they were in and see, did they get their wipers replaced? Did they get their air filters replaced? If no, let's offer it. If yes, how long ago was it? Maybe we still need to offer it. You can put logic into this custom step and say, if it's been this long, ask the question. If it was 2 weeks ago that they came in for an oil change and they got all this done, and now they need the inspection because they're within the window, don't ask them or remind them to come in later on. There's so much you can do with this. It really just comes down to how creative you can get with it and knowing the industry of your customers that you're working with.
And which is like so amazing to me, because if you call any business out of the blue, no one's going to have your complete service history right in front of them and know these things just on the spot, right? But you can do this now with the AI employee's voice. Like they call in, it's a known phone number, look them up, get their service history, feed it to the AI. The AI is doing the upsell. That's so cool.
And what's crazy about that is you actually remove the bottleneck in the process, which is the human, which is unfortunate for humans, but at the same time, the business has to operate and the people need to get their vehicles serviced. It has to happen. And this is no different than what happened when typewriters came out and then the keyboard and the computer came out. It's automation, and the world keeps wanting things faster and faster and faster. And this is the next step. It's not necessarily about replacing people. It's about making the process better.
Yeah. Or freeing up people's time to work on bigger and better things. So 100%.
Well, imagine how many more people can you service if the AI is answering the phone? You didn't replace that person's job. You took away the tedious stuff that they don't want to do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And when they're busy on one phone call, right? Or maybe they're taking a break, scrolling on TikTok, whatever it is, you miss that lead, right? And so it's all about speed to lead. And I know I'm impatient when I call other businesses. So I pick up my phone, like I'll call the first one, no answer, next one, right? Until I get someone, and then I go with them.
Yeah. And the other piece of this comes from a business owner standpoint, right? You're paying an hourly wage to an employee. Like you said, they might be on TikTok, they might be on Facebook, they might be doing something, just sitting, waiting for people to show up. And you still have to pay them that hourly wage while they're sitting there doing that. With the AI, you're only paying them when they're working. So you're paying $4, $5, $6 an hour for the AI to work the entire hour, every minute of that hour they're working. Otherwise, you're not paying them.
Yeah.
So that's the other cool piece of this too, is it's super efficient to where it's only charging when it's working. And that's the other piece of this.
Yep. 100%. So this is exciting. I definitely want you guys to drop any questions you have in the comments. We're going to go through and we're going to answer those. And I haven't been watching the Facebook feed comments, but we'll go in and we'll do that. But yeah, there's so many possibilities here with this step.
I'm in closed GPT right now. There are no questions or comments on that feed. Let me check.
Cool.
FlowTrack doesn't look like any questions or comments there either.
Cool. All right. Well, so if you guys have questions, just drop them in the video. We'll get to you guys and answer all those. I appreciate you guys joining us today. Super excited to show you this new step and excited to see how you guys are going to use it in your business.
Thanks, Mike. I appreciate your time on this.
Thanks for